My name is Jenny Lilja. I was born and raised in Springs. I live in Barnes Landing currently. We are outside the Hedges Inn in the historic district of East Hampton Village, and I am the general manager and the executive chef. The hotel closes for the winter, so we were in a unique situation when the pandemic started going. We close November every year, and we don't open up again until mid-April. So when the pandemic first started rumbling, we weren't bothered by it because we weren't open. So we figured, it'll be over by then, by the time April rolls around. So yeah, it wasn't really a concern in the beginning for me. It started being a concern as we rolled into the spring. My management company was very kind. They have a lot of hospitality holdings across the country. And they said, let's see how it goes. All our staff was on unemployment still from the winter, so we just were being cautious. I was getting nothing but cancellations over the phone and the internet. Every phone call, every email was, we got to cancel, we got to cancel, we got to cancel. Of course, we understood, but then we started losing money on credit card fees, and all our advertising was going full swing. So that's when it started really to become a concern. We finally decided to open at half capacity in June of that year. You'll remember that hotels were deemed essential because nurses were traveling, and obviously that's not really applicable to us out here, but hotels were allowed to be open, so we decided to give it a try. I was quite conflicted, encouraging people to travel when we were being told stay put, but we went for it and we stayed open to 50% capacity for the whole season. It was. I didn't feel it as much as some of my real estate. I certainly saw it happening around us, but the draw for the hotel wasn't too intense. People were weary to be in communal spaces with each other. They didn't want housekeeping in their room. They didn't want to be with strangers. So I think the real estate boom was kind of a safer option for a lot of people fleeing Manhattan. There wasn't too much guidance coming down from the state. We did everything we could think of. Breakfast is a big deal here. We're known for our breakfast. People are excited about it. And it broke my heart to wrap every muffin in plastic. Everything was single serve. We weren't really supposed to serve food to people. We had hand sanitizing stations all over the place. We had to be very deliberate and clear with housekeeping, if the guests wanted housekeeping in their room, if they didn't, that kind of thing. We did all the sort of manic things that everyone did in the beginning. We were wiping down every delivery, all the stuff where you look back now and you think, what were we doing? I was happy. I was reluctant at first. I didn't want to bring people to us. We have a lot of space to ourselves out here, and to encourage people to travel felt a little irresponsible. But as we got slowly into it, people were very, very grateful to be out of Manhattan for a couple of days even, and everyone felt safe, and I sort of felt like I was doing a nice thing to let them share the fresh air and the space and the beach and all those things. I can't imagine being stuck in Manhattan in a pandemic. No, it wasn't, but it wasn't too much of a concern. We have a lot of investments across the country. Everyone in upper management understood what was going on, and we all knew we had to just sort of ride it out and do the best we could, keeping everybody safe. But it was down, gosh, I want to say 80% or something. Major. But I was very fortunate that they said, just, keep things running, half capacity. It's not a happy memory, really, but I have one guest who sticks out in my mind. Their experience, they're past guests over and over, and they had called ahead of time and asked what precautions we were taking. I told them everything we were doing. I assured them I would do my best to keep them safe. Our staff is being tested constantly and all that. They came and witnessed someone not masking, and she was distraught. She was so scared. She was frantic, and I felt terrible. If I don't see someone not following the rules, what can I do about it? But people were really scared, and after that interaction, I did my best to make sure when I spoke to people on the phone or via email that they were comfortable taking the risk as well, because I can only do so much. If you're that scared, best to stay put. I say all the time that our sort of attitudes have changed. People can be difficult here, we'll say. It's a beautiful luxury destination. People expect quality service and they get upset when they don't get it. I think the pandemic for my customers was kind of a course correction. You know, are you really upset? Or, you know, relatively now it's okay. It's not that big a deal, right? We're going to be all right. So that kind of thing. Everyone was very grateful to be visiting and out of their homes. And I think everyone got a little bit of a reality check and a little shift in perspective about what really is a hardship and what is an inconvenience and what doesn't matter at all. We're not as safe and isolated out here as I assume we are. We have a heightened sense of safety out here, I think. I do anyway. Of course, anything can happen anywhere, but it seems a little less likely here. But the pandemic was a game changer, and nothing is a given. Anything can change at the drop of a hat, and you just gotta roll with it. If anything has stuck with us through sort of procedures that we've changed, I've become more relaxed with my cancellation policy. I was very rigid. Things come up and what are you going to do? And I suppose we've taken more care in the communal spaces. The bikes that people borrow are wiped down, you know, every hour without fail. You know, we're very conscientious of things that people are sharing. Talking about it was very humbling. You can't take anything for granted. Things can change in a second. You're not immune to anything out here. You're not any more safe than anywhere else. I mean, a little bit, but yes, it was humbling. And as often happens in our small town, it was lovely to see everyone come together and help each other. We did a lot of work with the food pantry, and we raised money and passed out masks in the driveway. And that's one of the greatest things about a small town, those kinds of things. But yes, it was humbling, for sure.